Hey yo, what is up everybody, Noah here, and welcome to another episode of Story Times for the Nerd Talk Topics. Today we have a story that's around one of my friends, and he's actually going to be featured here in a little bit. This isn't like a bad story or anything either. This is more of just like kind of what he does, and it's just kind of funny, and so I thought I'd make this because it's just the things he does, it's hilarious sometimes to me, and so let's get right into it. So this last year I attended Amarillo College here in Amarillo, and I was going there for the theater program. Of course, I dropped out after my first year, just because of some of the things that went down, like my ex leaving me and all that, and then I just didn't have much motivation for it, and when I was going there for media after that, it just really wasn't what I was looking for, so I just left there. But before all that happened, I was in the theater program, and I really enjoyed that, and I met this one dude, and his name's Zach, and he's a really good friend of mine, but this dude is a little out there sometimes, and I love him for it, and I'm not trying to talk about him, it's funny, and I asked him for the permission on this. He's also going to be talking about it too here in a little bit. But the things he does, like, he has this thing where he will literally just look at someone, and like, he would look at our teacher all the time and would just accuse him of being, like, insane. And it's just hilarious. So, like, we would just be hanging out and stuff, you know, like, it'd be a normal day, we're sitting there doing lines or whatever, doing warm-ups for whatever we were doing in theater class that day, if we were going over notes or going over rehearsals or whatever, and he would just be sitting there and we're kind of just chilling, and then he would look at me and he'd be like, bro, doesn't our theater director kind of look like a killer to you? And I would just look at him and be like, what you saying? And he'd just be like, bro, doesn't he look like he could kill you like in an instant? And I'd look over at the theater director and I just stare at him, and I was like, no, I don't think so. And he was like, what? And he's like, he looks like he just murdered you, he looks so creepy. And I was like, where do you get that he looks so creepy from? He's like, I don't know, dude, he just looks creepy to me. And I'm just like, dude, what do you mean? Like, he's just our theater director. He's just kind of chilling. He's just sitting there, like, grading our papers or whatever. Like, what do you mean he looks creepy? And he's like, I don't know, dude. Like, just look at his eyes. Like, he's got that creepy vibe to me and everything. Like, he looks like he can murder you in your sleep. And I'm like, bro, are you okay? And he's like, nah, dude, it's just, we look at him. And I was like, I think you're crazy, bro. And he's just like, nah, man. And it's funny. Just because the fact of, like, he just looks over at our theater director. And it was, like, on the daily, too. This is the daily of him just being like, yo, dude, does that person look creepy to you? And I'm like, no, not really. And he's like, oh, that person looks creepy to me. And it wasn't just with our theater director. This was, like, with multiple people sometimes. And it's just hilarious whenever he does it. And I love it. But it also just makes me go, like, what are you, like, on, bro? Like, are you good? Like, what you doing, homie? And just, like, the way it goes, it's hilarious to me. Like, I'm pretty sure he also did it with some of our peers, and he'll be able to explain it better, because he remembers, like, some of the things he said better and all that, and just, like, but, like, he would look at our peers sometimes, and, like, we'd just be chilling, and he'd be like, bro, doesn't that peer over there look like, just, like, they could do something or something like this, or don't they just look like, you know, like, crazy right now or something? I'm like, no, I don't know, man, like, I don't know. It's just funny, and he never meant it out of ill harm. I think he did it more for fun than anything, but just, it's hilarious to me just to be able to sit back and just, like, hear that, and it's just a fun time, you know. It's like one of those things you're just like, really, like, what's going on, bro? That being said, though, there is also these times, so when we were hanging out, we would sometimes go ahead and go get some, like, food. Like, we would go get some McDonald's and something, and whenever we go in his truck, and I had my vape with me, and, like, he had never really vaped before, and I was like, bro, do you want to try this? And he's like, sure. And I'm like, alright, bet. And so we're taking hits throughout the whole thing, and as we're driving along, we're going towards there, and all of a sudden he gets a Nick rush, and this dude, like, literally when he gets that rush, it lasted for so long, like for hours, and he literally was acting like he was so high, and he wasn't even high. And it was hilarious, because, like, we're driving along, and we go into, because we went down, like, a wrong street or something, and he's like, oh, crap. And so we went ahead, we backed out, we went through a parking lot, and then we came out onto the street, but when he turned left, he turned onto incoming traffic, and we both panicked really bad, like, oh my god, that's oncoming traffic! And so we had to pull back in and then go back to go the right way. What makes it even better, too, is just the fact that, like, after that, we go back to the school, and we had what we call the workshop, and that's where we would work on stuff for the shows and everything, working on sets, getting research done. And for this particular show, I did the music for the show, and so I was researching music and everything. And so we were hanging out, and I was like, hey bro, do you want to help me do some research on the music so you can get your hours in and all that? And he's like, yeah, I'm down. I'm like, all right, cool. So we go ahead and we go up to the top and we're chilling up there, and we really weren't supposed to be hitting it up there, but we were hitting the little vape because it was like a little handheld one, and so we're hitting it up there. And like we turn out the lights and he's just sitting there. And before we even go up there though, we walk in and one of our other peers, she's sitting on the couch and she looks at us and like we're both just smiling and laughing our asses off, and she just looks at him and looks at me and she looks at Zach and she's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I was like, but I looked at her, I was like, wait though, it's not what you think. She's like, I'm like, it's really not. It's from the vape. And she's like, what? And I'm like, yeah. Like, look at this man, and he's just over there, and he's sitting there, like, looking all high, his eyes are squinted, he's smiling really big, he falls backwards, he's like, I'm tired, I'm hungry. And so, we're kind of just sitting there, and then we go on up to the top, and we're chilling up there, and we're just kind of sitting there still, and we're doing the research. I'm doing some research, listening to music, seeing what works, seeing what I like, because I had to find music that was for, like, the 1600s, I think, or 1700s, something like that. And we're sitting there, and we're looking through, we're listening to stuff, and we turn out the light, because we were just like, we don't really want the light on. And then, like, we just decide, like, we're gonna go ahead and lay down. And we lay down on the floor, and legit, like, we're passing out. Like, I passed out for, like, a full minute, and he wakes me up. He's like, no, wake up! I'm like, what, dude? He's like, don't go to sleep. I'm like, dude, I'm just resting my eyes, chill. He's like, bro, just don't go to sleep, man. I'm like, bro, you're laying down, too. Just chill for a minute. We're cool. He's like, it's hilarious to me to this day because of the fact that just that happened, but it doesn't end there. So within the theater program, we also got to go on this trip, and I don't remember the acronym for the name of the trip, but it was this really cool experience to be able to go and do different workshops and being able to get to see different plays put together. And it was really cool. Some of the plays they had were really cool. There was one that was kind of out there because it was about rape, and it was a little intense. But nonetheless, we're chilling, and we're at the hotel one night, and we had two of our other buddies with us that we're really good buddies with, and all four of us, we were roommates chilling this weekend, and we were chilling one night, and I had brought my PlayStation, and we brought some DVDs, and we were watching Spider-Verse, and as we're watching Spider-Verse, we're taking hits and stuff. Of course, like, it was supposed to be a non-smoking room, but, like, since it wasn't a cigarette, we're like, yeah, it's not too big a deal, I don't think. And so we're chilling, and we're sitting there hitting back and forth. All of a sudden, like, we're laying there, and he just starts going off again, because I'm like, guys, look, it's happening. And, like, he's laying there, and he's watching the movie, he's like, whoa, bro, did you see that? Did you see that text go by, or something like that, or whatever? And I remember there was, like, something at the end of the movie, and he just, like, flips out about it, and I don't remember what, but it was just hilarious in the end. Like, I love this dude, he's one of my best buddies that I have from the college, and just the stuff we did was so dumb. Like, we never did anything bad or illegal or anything. It's just, like, you know, the fact that he never vaped before, I guess, or had nicotine, and it hit him that bad both those times. Like, it never even hit me that bad. And it was just hilarious to watch. Okay, so I forgot to say a certain part before we move on to this next part, but there's another part in this story that's kind of hilarious to me. Another thing that he did. So we had a project that we were working on within the theater program, and this was a project that we were doing to kind of just test our acting, I guess, in a way. And it was to do, like, certain scenes from movies and stuff. And so it was me, him, and one other dude. And so we chose to do the scene from The Greatest Showman in the bar. And so we did the song and everything. Except here's the thing. We had little shot glasses, right? So our other buddy had these shot glasses, and he brought them to the school, and we were using them, like, taking shots while we were dancing and stuff. We were going to use tea, but we didn't have that, so we were using water, and it was coming from the faucet, and as we were rehearsing it, we were actually drinking the water and stuff, getting ready to practicing with it and everything. And we had this big bottle that we filled up with it. And as we're go ahead and we're practicing, we're singing, we're dancing, we're doing the whole shtick, you know. And as we're doing this, we're pouring the water, we're pouring the shots, we're taking the shots. And as we're doing this day after day, at some point, he just finally looks at me and he's like, dude, I don't want to drink that nasty ass tap water anymore. And we just look at him and we start laughing our asses off. And we're like, dude, what do you mean? And he's like, dude, this water's just so freaking nasty and cold. I don't want to drink it anymore. And I'm just like, bro, are you good? He's like, no, I don't want to drink the water anymore, man. I want tea. I don't want to do this with the water. It's so in my stomach and everything. And we're just laughing because he's like freaking out so much and like just over dramatic over the fact of drinking the water. And I just was like, this is amazing. This is hilarious to me. We literally, like, it was like, I think 3 or 4 days of rehearsing, and we just had the shot glasses and just constantly, like, we had the water, so we are using the water so we could practice drinking them as we're singing the lines and stuff, going back and forth and doing the lines. And he's just like, finally, he just gets to this point, he's just like, I don't want to do it with the water anymore, man. I don't want to drink this nasty water. Of course, he soldiered on, and we were able to do it. But it was just hilarious because, like, his reaction, we were laughing the whole time. He's just, like, sitting there. Sometimes he would, like, take the shot and just would do that, like, face, you know? He's like, I just don't want to do this anymore with the water. And it was just hilarious to me. That's, like, one of my favorite memories is just him and the water with the shot glasses, because he just could not take it anymore after how much we were doing it, because we were rehearsing that much, because that's what our director wanted from us. He wanted us to rehearse that much, and it was great. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I present to you my friend Zach to tell his side of the stories and everything, so you guys can kind of hear from his perspective. This is kind of just my perspective on it, and just we thought it'd be fun to make this one, so enjoy it, and Zach, take it away.
Hey everybody, it's Zach. Thanks for having me, Noah. And well, tell y'all some stories. Stories in college. And college is a wild ride, right? And it's full of ups and it's downs. Well, full of eventful things has happened. I'd like to start off with the story of my theater professor. His name was Mr. Monty. Now, Mr. Monty's He's quite a character. He's a really cool guy. I love him. He's he really earned his title as a theater instructor. He was my professor. He knows his stuff. He really knows his stuff. I mean, he did theater arts on the stage and some film work, but just one thing off about him. And it's always struck me, man, this dude is very intimidating, very creepy. He's just I don't know how to explain it, like words, but he's kind of just there. Like you ask him a question, like, "So Monty, you excited for the show tonight?" And he'd be like, "Yep." And he would give you the most blankest stare that you will ever experience in your life. He will just look at you like, "Yep." You probably don't see me now, but it's very creepy. It is very creepy, very intense. Or you'd ask him, "So Monty, do you like pizza?" Nope. And he would never go into detail as to why he said yes or no, ever. He would just look at you like, "What else you want?" You know, it's so freaking creepy, and he always did it, all the time. So I just figured, you know what, this man, this man has definitely taken a life before. Like I know it. I know for a fact, and no one would believe me. Absolutely no one, and it is frigging redonkulous how no one saw it. I'm sure he did it to everybody else. Just a blank stare. Nope. Yep. Nope. Nope. There's no emotion. For a man that teaches the art of emotions, he has none. It's none, and it's so weird. Oh, but I still love him. And if you see this, Mr. Monty, I love you. Please don't kill me. Please don't kill me. Oh yeah, and whenever somebody doesn't show up to class, it's like, damn. Monty claims another, and I always wonder next, and it is scary. Oh yeah, it's all about Mr. Monty. There's another story, and it's very embarrassing. Well, uh, okay, when you start driving, when you first start driving, it is a wild, scary sort of a deal that you go through. It is it's very nerve wracking, especially when you're in the worst part of town to drive in. One of the worst parts of town to drive in, which is freaking busy because it's one way. Well, okay, so well, I don't smoke. I've never really touched any cigarettes or really any e-cigarettes or anything like that or vaping up until well, I met my boy Noah, and he would let me hit his little like I don't know what you call it. I guess a pen or a stick smoke stick. I don't know. And it turns out, if you didn't know, kids, you can get high from. I had no idea. Only you can only get high if you really took it. And well, we're driving around. You know, uh, it was after this thing called practicum, which is basically just set building and whatnot for a show. And we head to McDonald's, and I was hitting it before we went there, and I was like, I gotten very tired, and I mean very tired, like I'm about to pass out on the wheel, tired. Like I was like, oh man, I could go to sleep, you know. And as we were driving out of, I think it was McDonald's. No, wait, yeah, I think so. I'm not too sure. Everything's all blurred. Maybe because I was very tired. But there was a one-way street. It's a one-way, mind you, a one-way. You can only go one way forward, not backward, which is what I thought. And so I turns out I turned on the wrong way on the street, and I was like, oh my gosh. Noah was like, boy, what are you doing? And I'm like, oh, I just want to go to sleep. Like in my head, I was just thinking like, what's wrong with me? So I had to turn. And everybody was staring at me in the cars. And some dude who almost hit us, sort of. He was going pretty slow. He was just like, what the French toast? And I was just like, don't touch me. And I was just like, oh my gosh, now I gotta turn. And I turned. Finally went to the right way. It's sort of a near-death experience. Not very scary at all, but hey, if you were high, you'd be scared. I know it. Another story about nicotine. So, my class, me and Noah, our class really, we were going on a trip to Abilene, Texas, in their little sort of civic center, convention center type of deal, and they had a whole entire I want to say week of just theater arts, of the arts, of acting. There was classes to be taken, panels to be seen, shows to be watched. It was great, great food too, and I had the best hotel roommates ever. It was awesome, great, great. And Noah, of course, guess what he brought along? Yeah, his smoky stick. Yeah, like we're Gandalf or something. So he got a smoky stick. Of course, me being, well, me hitting it a lot actually. And it was like, but the end of the day, we're all done with basically everything for that day. Uh, and well, we're just sitting in the hotel room. We're watching Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, yeah. And man, I was hitting it, and then it hit me. I was like, man, I am about to pass out to dreamland. I was so freaking tired. I was like, oh man, I want to go to sleep. No one let me because I had to watch the movie. And so by the end of the movie, I was like very irritated. I was just like, why can't I go to sleep? Why can't I go to sleep? So what I did, well, I was like, maybe if I close my eyes and open them, the movie would be done. And I was doing that for a while. Open. Spider-Man's still on the screen. Close. Open my eyes. Spider-Man is still on the screen. Close. Open my eyes. Spider-Man is still on the screen. And I'm like, oh my god. It's taking too long. And Noah was just dying. Everybody was dying for all the comments I was saying. And I was like, what's taking too long? And I'm like, the movie. And everybody was dying. And I was so frustrated because I couldn't go to sleep because no one would let me because they want me to watch the movie with them, and it was just having a good old time. Me, no, I was not having. It was not a fun time, but I always cherished that, and I was very tired. I was so tired. I was like, oh my god, please God, let me go to sleep. Well, no, that wasn't an option apparently. So remember, kids, if you're high on something, you're probably gonna be very tired. If it's Spider-Man, because you're not going to sleep anytime soon, sir. Well, maybe if you have friends. Oh, the water. Yes. Yes, sir. The water. Okay, so my buddy Noah, my other buddy David, and me, we were participating in a project, acting 2 or 1. I'm pretty sure it was 1. And we were reenacting a scene from this musical movie called The Greatest Showman. And well, it was the scene where they were at the bar and Hugh Jackman and that sexy man was negotiating on whether they should start the circus and whatnot. And so we couldn't really bring alcohol like whiskey or anything like that. So we were like, okay, let's just use fountain water in this random place. No, it wasn't fountain water. I think it was sink water. So don't ever drink sink water, boys. Do not ever drink sink water. And sink water is nasty. This particular one was disgusting. It was morbidly disgusting. It was atrocious. It was brings me chills down to my testes. That's how disgusting it was. It was like drinking fermented cat pee dipped in pickle juice and semen. It was awful. It was so gross. I had to endure. And I was ready to endure. But it was too much. Like it would touch your tongue, and your tongue would be like, like that. Like, oh, you could feel it in your bones. I don't know why we did it either. I don't know why we used this water. We could have went out to another fountain and got water, but not. So shots, rehearsal after rehearsal, shots and shots later. Really. I was like, Noah, David, I can't do this anymore. I was on the verge of tears, boys. I was on the verge of tears. It was so disgusting. I was really about to cry. Like, oh, it hurt my stomach too because I was really full afterward. And it was just like, oh, this water, if you gave it to like an Ethiopian child, he wouldn't even drink it. No matter how thirsty he was, he wouldn't even drink it at all. That's how bad it was. That's a horribly horrendous was 2 H's. Horribly and horrendous. And anything starting with horribly and horrendous in those exact order, do not do it. Do not drink it. Do not taste it. Do not mate with it. Do not watch it. Nothing. You know why? Because it will affect your soul like this water did. And I was just begging Noah. I was like, Noah, let's just use something else. Please, God, I can't do this anymore. I was about to go insane. That's how nasty it was. Ugh. It didn't look bad either. It was just water. But God, this water? Mm-mm. No, sir. No, sir, indeed. Surprised I didn't die. Or kidney failed. But, yeah, so moral of the story, watch out your fountains. Watch out for your sinks. Do not even drink sink water. Because, sir, well, I'll tell you right now, sink water, you will die. Not physically, but mentally and spiritually. Well, looks like that's all I have left. Thanks, Noah, for having me, and I really appreciate this time you've given me to tell all these stories, and hopefully I'm in the next one. Thanks, man.
All right. Well, thank you, Zach, so much for coming on the channel and telling us that story. That's great. And yeah, I forgot that we didn't let him go to sleep when we were watching Spider-Verse. That was the thing there. I kind of forgot about that. That's my bad. But nonetheless, thank you for joining us, man. And for sure, I want to have you in more videos for sure. There's some other stuff we're going to be working on that I think we can do collabs on, and other people and stuff, get some other people going. I have some ideas. I'm going to be doing some reactions and stuff, I think. But thank you again for joining. I appreciate that. And hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, be sure to click that like button, click that subscribe button, click that notification bell, all that good stuff. Stay up to date, and let's keep growing this community, guys. I really am enjoying making content like this. Like, I didn't realize how much I really enjoy this type of content. It's just really fun to make, really easy, really chill, just telling stories, having some laughs, reacting to stuff, whatever, putting opinions out there and stuff sometimes, or, stuff like that. It's really fun, and so I think I'm going to keep going down this road. I really enjoy it. I still will do stuff on games, maybe, but right now I'm really just enjoying this content, so I'm going to keep doing that. But nonetheless, guys, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to do all those things, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching.
Kiss your head when you cried for